On today's show, a special yearbook is helping blind students see their classmates.
A dog gets a new pair of legs, 3D printed pair of legs.
That's exciting. Also, NASA has a new way to take out the space trash that's inspired by geckos. But you will not get 15% off your car insurance. It's Tomorrow Daily. Greetings, citizens of the internet. Welcome to Tomorrow Daily, the best geek talk show in the known universe. I'm your host, Ashley Esqueda. Joining me as always, to my right, to your left, the one and only Kill Anonymous.
I like your lower third better than mine.
Why?
I don't know.
They're both just our names.
By the way, in case you haven't been trolling around on the CNET videos that have been coming out, there's a blooper reel up now.
Yeah, we have to talk about the blooper reel.
Yeah.
We never make mistakes, and so we just couldn't submit anything. They asked, and we
never
said,
make mistakes. Never.
Producer
offer.
Logan was like, never over. We never do.
Yeah.
That's true. But producer Logan, they asked, and he was like, I'm sorry, they're just too perfect. And with that, let's hit the headlines. Of course, one thing that we say in the show today is a total fabrication, and it might have been that.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there.
You're going to make it. No, you cursed us.
I did.
You're going to make a huge mistake this episode.
I'm sure
ready.
I will.
So pay attention.
I'm here, aren't I?
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so our first story is awesome, super heartwarming. It comes from South Korea. This is the Seoul National School for the Blind, and they were recently given the opportunity to let its most recent graduating class actually, quote unquote, see their other classmates. So this is awesome. A company named 3D Tech made busts of 8 blind students. So they made, they 3D printed very detailed, small palm, like handheld statues of each of these classmates. And then they mounted them onto a rack about, I think, 8 wide. Obviously, there's 8 of them. And then they put little nameplates in Braille underneath the faces. And so just like a yearbook picture brought to life with 3D printing, they're able to feel the faces of their classmates. And they're able to sort of, in a way, see what they look like.
Oh, that's really touching.
Yeah, and like they compared, like says he's like your nose is small, it's like everything. It's like, oh, it resembles you, and they can remember the faces of their friends, and they each got one of these 8 long busts, and so
they each got one.
They each got one, so now they have it with them for life, and always be able to look back fondly.
Oh my God.
On all their friends after graduation. But it's really, really cool. Like, I love how 3D printing is kind of really at the forefront of these sorts of stories that are kind of like, you know, we think about 3D printing as something that could potentially be used for evil, like you see these 3D printed guns.
Yeah, I guess that's
And like, well, no, there's like people who say, well, 3D printing, I don't know, like I'm not sure about it, but then you see things like this, and it's just so heartwarming, and you just go, gosh, like, this is something we've never been able to do even 5 years ago. Like, this is great.
Just the fact that somebody thought to use it for this is incredible.
Really, really cool.
And these kids, in case you're just listening, are so touched. They were like hugging
They were
little
really
statues.
excited, yeah, and they were super excited to be able to experience that and check it out. So I just thought that was such a nice way to open up the show this week. Just really heartwarming.
Yeah.
Like, we're in the Christmas spirit. We're feeling it.
That one and this next story are definitely ones to bank when you're talking about 3D printing.
Yes.
Whenever you're talking in discussion about the guns or whatever.
And especially if anyone brings up like, well, I'm not sure about 3D printing, it could be used for so many bad things, and then you say, well, these kids
not only
real.
that, but like where the future's going. So let's get started on my story.
Let's do that.
Not to leave your kids behind.
No, but we have other things to touch upon.
A dog, unfortunately, was born without front paws. This is his name. Is Derby. This is Derby the dog.
Derby.
And Derby the dog was born without front paws. Very sad thing. He was a rescue. Well, his owner, Tara Anderson, works for 3D Systems and decided that she wanted to try and help him out. They had already tried, putting it on wheels, and it couldn't play with the other dogs very well.
I would imagine that would be really hard to have those little wheelchairs. Yeah, you can't really pivot on it, so you can't pivot quickly. This is his foster owner?
Yeah, foster owner.
Cool.
So see, here's the wheels. It looks cumbersome. It makes the dog like twice the size.
Right, but he can get around kind of, but not quite.
So they decided to, through 3D Systems, print out some paws for it to have.
This is just like in Forrest Gump when he's like, Lieutenant Dan, you got some magic legs.
Yeah.
This is just like that, except with dogs.
So they ended up going with, instead of like latches or whatever, they got a loop system so that he can move around more easily.
Right, because if they did like a peg,
Instead of
then
just
it would
like
be
a
really
foot.
right. And then
Yeah.
also maybe
and
he
it's
would
hard
sink
to get
into
used
the
to,
ground.
you know, like it. So as you can see, it's got kind of like a roundish
Wow,
shape.
look at that. It's like a
better
big
room
loop.
for error and movement. They're about to put him on him. They're saying they're starting it lower to the ground because they want Derby to get used to the legs, and they'll increase the height over time as he gets more comfortable.
Look at him go.
I know, he's got some crazy mobility. Look at, he's running.
He's running, just kind of like trotting around. I mean, that's
So you can see how he's a
insanity.
little lower to the ground in the front because that's obviously where his paws
He's
are
got to
missing.
get used to it,
But
right?
he's getting
I see.
used to it. Yeah, the weight distribution and whatnot. But yeah, they're already on. They're about to print his 4th generation of these. So again,
That's the best.
3D printing, like moving this sort of thing and making it more accessible to people. And you know, look at, it's probably a lot more affordable
Look at how
than
happy
going
this
through.
dog is. Like,
Yeah.
that's the best. That's the best. I mean, that's
So there you
amazing.
go.
If you're a Grinch, this show today is going to make your heart grow 3 sizes. You won't need the Who's down in Whoville. You just need today.
Still not a lot for me, but
I know.
it doesn't grow like.
Well, it's, you know, it's the same thing as like something times 1 is it doesn't grow very much.
Well, it's not times 0.
Yeah,
It's still 0.
maybe 0.2. Maybe 0.2.
So there you go. That's two positive stories about 3D printing. What do you got?
I
What's
got
yours?
a third. It's this positive story, but it might take a little while to really put it in action. But you know, I don't know if you knew this, but there's actually a lot of space trash in our orbit. Like we actually have a lot of trash, like dead satellites, and I mean, not like, you know, McDonald's cups or anything. It's not like a sea barge. You know, those like islands of garbage out in the ocean, those sad islands
That's where
of
I
garbage.
dump my oil.
Kale
Into
dumps all of his
space.
oil and sewage out into space. But yeah, no, this is really cool. So NASA, there's about 21,000 objects orbiting the Earth right now that are dead, not used.
21,000.
Trash.
That NASA put there.
Well, and it's dangerous,
Jerks.
especially when you have launch. You know, we've all seen Gravity.
Yeah.
It's dangerous to have space trash around, and so NASA has unveiled this robot gripper that they think can help bring in garbage. And so what they're doing right now, this is a microgravity flight that they did, and that's a 20-pound box, but it simulates a 250-pound item. So they were able to kind of grip it. So what they've done is they were inspired by geckos who can stick to some pretty rough surfaces.
Yeah.
And the way that they do that is there's like sort of these hair structures on their pads, and so they've created something very similar to that with synthetic hair structures on the gripper's adhesive pads that allow them to either grip or let go, which is really fascinating. So yeah, they're pulling this guy around. I love that. And so in the future, the idea is that they would send a robot up in orbit with these gripper pads, and it would go around the Earth and collect things. And so it would basically clean up space trash.
Nice.
It's a space trash garbage man.
And what are we going to do with it when we get it back?
Well, I would imagine we'd throw it in the ocean like we do everything
Yeah.
else.
No, that's
No,
messed
it's
up.
no, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I would imagine. Well, some of it might be able to be repurposed.
All right, so they're just going to send out a robot to go out there and clean up space? Or what's the deal?
Yeah, I mean, I think that like this technology, I've seen it used in a couple of different ways. Like not precisely this, but a very similar application where they have people do it in like the Spider-Manning up the wall. Like it's that gecko sort of. It's like inspired by the gecko and how it sticks to rougher surfaces. So right now, like I said, it can grab the equivalent of about 250 pounds in microgravity. And then they're testing right now the grippers on a bunch of different spacecraft surfaces just to see how well it can grab things. And they were saying that in the future they might be able to, like, you know, get something and take it to another location in orbit, or maybe if something like falls off the ISS, so they go get it, retrieve it, bring it back.
All right.
Things like that. So I thought that was pretty neat. And they were saying also that it would potentially in the future be used to help things that are spinning out of control in space.
Oh,
slow
okay.
down.
Yeah. So
So-
that's scary scenario.
Terrifying.
By the way,
yeah.
so how much space trash was out there again?
21,000 pieces of space trash.
It's gonna take forever to clean up.
But the big thing is that, like I mentioned, it's really dangerous for launches to have to go through these like patches of space garbage, which is really. Did you ever think in your life that you would be talking about space garbage?
Space
like,
garbage,
we have a
yeah.
real space garbage problem, you guys. Stop littering. Don't throw out your milkshakes or half-eaten burritos while you're in the spacecraft. Like, it's no good.
Yeah.
It's just really weird that we're talking about space trash. It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't. Just as a person, I'm like, I can't even imagine. Like, that wouldn't have been a thing I thought of. Like, wow, there's going to be some garbage in our orbit.
Yeah.
Weird.
That dirty, dirty space. We got to clean it up.
Yeah, clean it up.
All right.
Just like I do in Fallout. I clean it up one piece of garbage at a
You
time.
need to learn how to play Fallout. Already.
So do you have a hashtag of the day for that? Do you want to? I'm like trying to think of our hashtag because I didn't before that was the big mistake I made. See?
Oh, you
were
don't
right.
You don't have a hashtag?
So I think you need to make one up right now on the spot.
Okay. TD trash.
TD trash.
Okay.
All right.
What sci-fi trash do you think we'd find up if we went up into space?
In any series.
It could be from like Star Wars,
Star Trek,
or Battlestar
Stargate,
Galactica,
BSG.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Lost in Space.
Yeah, like Luke's hand floating out there or something.
I'd like that. I'd like to see that.
Or like
catch it, get a gripper, catch Luke's hand, have a little
maybe
museum.
some like Chewbacca hair trimmings.
Okay, all right.
That's out there. I'm
the
just thinking of Star
satellite
Wars,
that got knocked
apparently.
off the Millennium Falcon, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So you got that going on.
The Apollo
I like that.
13
TD trash.
ring. Yeah,
that's your hashtag.
TD trash. Not great because I just came up with it.
You do. You have a second hashtag though, because we're gonna need this. This is the more important hashtag. On Wednesday, Kayla and I are doing our Best of CES show, or not Best of CES. I'm sorry, I have CES on the brain right now.
Yeah, you do.
Best of 2014 show. And what we're doing is we're asking you also to contribute your Best of 2014. So TD Best of 2014.
Maybe you should focus on that.
Yeah, maybe focus on that.
Don't listen.
But
to
what
my
I want
stupid
is
hashtag.
either your best tech story, your favorite tech story of 2014, your favorite video game of 2014, and or your favorite pop culture news in 2014.
Okay.
So all the things that we cover. Like tell us what your favorite thing was this year in those three
Which one
categories.
stuck with you?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and we'll tell you ours on that show on Wednesday, which is pretty exciting.
Nice.
And that'll be our last show of the year.
If anybody says that blood video game thing,
He quits.
I'm gonna quit.
If you want Kale to quit, say the blood video gaming machine.
There you go.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back, so don't click away, and we will have another round of Back It or Hackett, and of course, your user feedback. So stick around. Welcome back to the show, where we've returned. Hopefully, that one big mistake is cleared now.
I noticed we both are wearing what seem like aggressively violent shirts. What is yours? Punisher?
No, mine's a Reaper from Overwatch. I got this at BlizzCon.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is his mask, Reaper's mask.
Cool.
He was really fun. He had the dual pistols, and then like his special move was like you would turn into kind of like a phantom, and you would spin around in circles and pow, 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 and like shoot everybody around you. It was cool.
I wish I got to play it.
It was super good. Maybe I'll pull some strings, get you in the tech alpha.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, get those strings going.
Someday, whenever they have an alpha available. I don't know when that's going to be. We have to talk about this Back It or Hackett because Kale found it, and I found it very fascinating. It's actually got a lot of cool features. So this is Back It or Hackett. So today we will be discussing the Uno Noteband. This is a wearable, lots of wearables this year.
Yes.
Big year for wearables. This one was a little bit different though, and I like kind of the idea behind it. This is speed reading notifications. So here's the deal. There's a website called Spritz, and it lets you put in text, and then it'll speed read it to you just like this. So if you're not watching the show, it basically puts up one word at a time, centered, and it's been shown, like according to them, that you read up to 80% faster with this method, one word at a time.
Yeah.
So very interesting. So this wearable basically just shows you the words of your notification, one word at a time, centered, so that you can read them very quickly, which I like. And it includes call notifications, email, social media, calendar alerts, and then the other thing that's really cool is you can also get gaming notifications. So it is connectable to Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation. So if you get new friend requests,
That's crazy.
you can check that out, and you can accept a friend request.
So it's primarily like a messaging type band, or what?
Yeah, they call it a note band, and I thought that was really interesting because it is kind of like, it's just like, oh, here's notes. Like, here's some notes from this notification, or here's an email that is going to show you one word at a time so that you can speed read it while not necessarily having to stop and like look.
Okay.
And you can turn up the speed at which it sends those words to your device. So It's like you can turn it up to a certain level, and it'll be like, instead of going, hi, Kale, nice to meet you. Like, it would be like, hi, Kale, nice to meet you. Like, you can speed it up or slow it down.
So this is a way to not have to keep looking at your phone, is what?
Yes, and I think the one thing they mentioned at the very beginning of their Indiegogo video is we look at our phones like 150 times a day, and they're like, we want to just axe that, 86 that. Want people to look at their phones less.
Yeah.
Which is a very noble pursuit. I mean, it's a very noble pursuit, of course. Yeah. But I really like this idea. It's neat. It's really awesome. So it's
there you go. And how much is it? Well, yeah. What's going on with
the first early bird is sold out, but you can back it for $69 right now for 1 or 2 bands for $118, and then it delivers in April of next year. So
oh wow, that's pretty soon.
That's the timeline. So when most Kickstarters and other crowdfunding projects are like a year out or more, like this is 4 months.
Yeah,
so
pretty close. Yeah.
So it's pretty nice. And then I think they have some stretch goals like colorful bands or faceplates, like different things like that. So you can go check that out, and they're doing quite well. People seem to really like it. I believe it's already going to be funded, so go check it out.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. I thought it was really awesome. So I say back it. I mean, I'm interested. I'd like to try it. So I'm hoping maybe they'll be at CES.
I like that it's relatively cheap. Like it seems cheap.
Yeah.
And
it's an OLED
and it works
screen.
with everything. So yeah.
And the other thing is you don't have to charge it every day. They said it will last like between like 2 to 4 days, like depending on how often you get notifications and how often the screening's lit up. So yeah, like I really like that. Now that we are done with Backer Hackett, though, well, thank you, by the way, for bringing that to our attention, because I didn't see that, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Now that we're done with that, of course, we have what you guys have to say, so it's time for user feedback. Oh, you guys are so magical, because last week we asked you to use the hashtag TDFigure to tell us what animated sort of statue you would have and what it would do.
Okay.
And you guys are geniuses. Leo wrote to us and said, I would have a Gandalf figurine that would say, "You shall not pass," while stomping his wooden stick whenever you walk past it.
That's great. It would be you'd pass it anyway.
And you'd pass it anyway and be like, "Suck it, Gandalf. It's time for me to go by."
Friend.
Sorry. Rick wrote to us and said, Steve Jobs action figure. Every email he would say, "We have one more thing for you," and this is the greatest email ever.
I bet you like that.
I do. Well, I love the idea of him being like, every time you get a notification, it's like a random rotation of words like, "It's magical. It's revolutionary." Like, I love the idea of like just these little like sound bites. It'd be really funny. And also, I think they should definitely program him screaming at you at some point, because that was he liked to scream at people.
Okay, yeah, I don't want that. I wouldn't buy it then.
Well, no, it's like if something goes wrong, like you know how you get your like warning message where something does like a burn or whatever, that it would be like Steve being like, "No," like it was like funny to me. And then Camel wrote to us and said, Nicki Minaj, love her voice.
Yeah.
I just come up to your show on YouTube. You guys are awesome. He's from Africa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I want to know what the Nicki Minaj
I think the name is
do.
Eritrea. Eritrea?
I
think
that
that's
name.
it. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a good.
But yeah, Nicki Minaj. I like that.
What would it do? Just do like its faces like.
I don't know. Maybe it'd sing super bass.
It would sing super bass?
Boy, you got my heartbeat running away. I don't know. Like, it could be. Could be good. That's all I'm saying. Wesley wrote to us and said, definitely would want Motoko Kusanagi, Ghost in the Shell, or Spike Spiegel, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
Figure. Those are good.
So, yeah, some anime love there.
Nice anime for all the otakus out there. And then Joey wrote us an email and said, Dear Tomorrow Daily, I love the idea of having a moving high-end action figure. I personally want one of Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride. I want to walk in the door and have it say, I'm Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Love the show.
Day.
Happy holidays. Sincerely, Joey.
And it checks to see if you have 6 fingers on your left hand.
I think it should also have a scanner in its like forehead or something where you have to put your hands up and he's like, do you know the 6-fingered man? I'm looking for a man with 6 fingers. Devin wrote to us and said, and finally, Devin wrote to us and said, I would have my figure be Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he would say all of his famous catchphrases. And in the mornings, when I leave, I would say, I'll be back. And he would say, no, I'll be back. And we would keep saying that until one of us gave up.
I like that he ran through the whole scenario.
I love it. Those are my favorite emails. Like, run through the whole scenario for us. It's great. But yeah, you guys had some really good answers. So you better step it up for TD Trash and Best of 2014 because It's gonna get serious.
TV trash is not gonna be fun.
I think it'll be
the
great.
Bad. No, this is our outtake.
I thought that was really good. All right, so our very last piece of user feedback, as always, is our photographer of the day. So our photographer of the day today comes from Kylie R. And he took this picture with a Galaxy S3, and he said, ever since I got a Nikon Coolpix point-and-shoot camera in middle school, I've been trying to demonstrate how a non-professional camera can be used to take great photos. Now, with my Galaxy S3, I keep trying to prove that point. Here's my latest attempt at an artistic photo with a relatively cheap, somewhat old camera taken while waiting for this season's solar eclipse.
Wow.
That's like a Galaxy
yeah.
S3.
Yeah.
That's like years old.
You got some depth of field going there.
Got a little, yeah, got some depth of field happening. Nice. I love this little sapling.
Yeah.
Like a little sapling sticking out of the ground where everything else looks dead. It's really nice juxtaposition of life and death.
I think he's proved his point.
We're getting deep. We're getting
Yeah.
deep with this. But yeah, you totally proved your point. This looks fantastic.
You win. God.
Nice
you're
job,
my
Kylie.
favorite now.
Yeah, you're officially
My
now Kale's favorite.
viewer.
Still not my favorite.
No, it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
Go, easy to impress, Kale. Not so much.
Very,
I'm
very
tough to
easy.
impress. If you guys want to send in your photography to be considered to be featured on the show, you can email us tomorrow@cnet.com. You can also send us your hashtag of the day, either or, best of 2014 or TD Trash. And if you absolutely hate email, which so many of you young childs do, you kids out there, you can always find us on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We're at Tomorrow Daily, and we're Tomorrow Daily TV over on Google+.
And if you believe in a thing called love, just listen to the rhythm of your heart and subscribe to the YouTube, either to CNET or the Tomorrow Daily Show.
It's true.
And don't forget to, if you're listening on iTunes, don't forget to give us a good rating
Yeah.
and also follow us there too. So.
Also, I found a really good reason for people to give us thumbs up on the videos because it helps us get to the list of like what's hot and relevant at that time when the videos go up.
Hot and relevant.
On YouTube, yeah. Where it's like, here's like popular, things that are popular right now. Things that are not trending, but it's like kind of like trending.
Oh.
So thumbs ups help.
Yeah, give us some thumbs up.
So now I have a good reason other than
Isolate.
it makes me feel good on the inside. Makes me feel all warm and
And it makes
fuzzy
you-
in my face.
You're much warmer every time. Okay.
I am.
Gotcha.
I am.
Gotcha.
That's why I'm so happy all the time because everybody's so nice on the internet.
'Cause they're being
so
good
nice.
people?
Yeah,
All right, fair enough.
they're being good humans. And speaking of which, we'll be back tomorrow with a brand new docket of weird, wonderful, awesome, crazy nerd stuff. And until then, be good humans, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.